And now some Drake fans reigniting that fiery feud with Kendrick Lamar after the rapper announced his long-awaited album, Iceman. It's releasing on May 15th. It's Drake's first solo album since their public battle back in 2024, and fans are very much still invested. Just take a look at Lamar's Instagram comment section since the announcement, flooded with ice emojis. How many of those are bots, though, really? Now, we don't know if Drake's going to address any of that on the new album, but fans are clearly hyped about the beef and the beats. You can see them at this gigantic ice block that Drake put up in downtown Toronto, where he said they'll find the release date inside. They could also just wait till he releases. That's just an idea. They're hacking at it with a hammer, even lighting it on fire at one point to try and melt it down. Brian Cheung joins me now. Wow, there's a lot of hype around this, Brian. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But give us a sense of how fans are feeling about Drake's comeback, especially with this album coming so long after what's been a big couple of years for Kendrick, right?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, let's just call it what it is. The Kendrick-Drake beef was the biggest thing in the hip-hop world in the last few years, and this is sort of the next chapter of that as Drake essentially tries to put that past him with his first new studio album as an independent musician. Since that, it's called Iceman. It's going to be released on May 15th, and he's been releasing these cryptic posts on his Instagram account at Champagne Poppy, something I don't think I ever would have said in a news report before. But you can see here is something you can all criticize and pretend does not make you feel better than everything. A teaser meant, of course, to hype up that album, which should be released in a few weeks. Now, of course, there's a lot of questions over exactly how Drake is going to bounce back after that devastating Not Like Us diss track that Kendrick Lamar released. It seemed like yesterday. Now, I should point out that when we talk about other music that Drake has put out, he's put out a number of singles, including, for example, one that was called What Did I Miss? What Did I Miss is what the chorus went like. He also released Which One, Doghouse, a collaboration with Julia Wolf. He also did have an album that he did with Party Next Door, an R&B singer, called Some Sexy Songs for You in 2026, I believe it was. And so, again, he has been releasing music, but this being his first album entirely himself since then is going to be of much interest. Also, I should also point out that as far as the streaming numbers go, he has been beating Kendrick Lamar, I believe, by a few million streams, according to Spotify, 88.9 compared to 71.8, although culturally, people might argue that Kendrick was the one that won that diss battle.
I feel like you kind of teased us there, Brian. Like, I thought you were going to just fully get into that. And you just give us a little tease. But maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. We'll keep people wanting more. No doubt about that. I mean, I think an argument can be made here that they're both probably benefiting a little bit about this beef.
I don't know. Do you stand on one side or the other, Ryan? I don't know if you're a hip-hop head.
I'm definitely a hip-hop head, 100%. I like them both. I prefer not to pick a side because I think they're both great. And I think, in part, the beef is what keeps us interested, right? We want to hear the next stage in the saga of all of it, right?
Kept me interested, that's for sure. Again, I won't say which side I took.
I think you have to tell us which side you're on.
Look, no? I do like West Coast rap. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, we'll leave it like that. We're going to leave it right that. Okay. All right, we'll get you to rap next time, Brian Cheung. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.